Hi guys, Jess here. Yes, so yesterday I went on a bit of a tangent. I was talking about a video that I'd posted previously, a TED Talk by Simon Sinek about finding your why. And then, of course, yesterday when I tried to talk about it, I went kind of off script and kind of started digging into my why and my own reasons for doing what I do. But sure, look, I want to readdress that question again, with more of a focus on how you can actually get to the crux of finding out your why in terms of your, whether it be your company, or, you as an individual, I suppose. Because the why, as we described yesterday about your neocortex and your limbic brain, the limbic brain being in the middle and be more based around vibration and energy and feeling and all those inexplicable things that we try to quantify but can't, that actually move us as human beings to take action over the kind of neocortex, which is the more logical side of the brain. So I have found a step-by-step guide, which is nice. I like them. I like step-by-step guides, from inspired by Simon Sinek, to actually discovering your why. So this is the Discovering Your Why workbook. So I will share that with you now. There are 4 steps in this workbook. I'm only going to go through the first step because they do take a bit of time to properly process and get through properly. So step number 1 is your why and your work. So you're identifying what you work as and why you're doing it. So there's a kind of a section done there and a couple of questions you do that way. Step number 2 is understanding your own beliefs as an individual. So there would be work to do there. Step number 3 is actually connecting and merging those 2 first steps. So connecting your beliefs with what you're actually working at. And then step 4 would be to take action. So to actually build a plan around what you work as, what your beliefs are, and so how you're going to move forward and communicate that to your wider audience. So as I said, I want to go step by step through this. What day are we on today? Wednesday. 4 steps Wednesday. I might do step 3 and 4 on Friday, just so I'm not leaving you hanging over the weekend. Okay, right, so finding your why, step number 1. So why and work. So the first question, there's 5 questions here, and the first question you have to ask yourself, which is the most difficult question of all, I'm being sarcastic, is what do you actually do for work? So what is it that you do? Hopefully, we can all answer that pretty easily without much thought. It just basically asks you to write out what it is you do for work, whether you are a beautician, you're a fitness instructor, you are working in accounting, or a doctor, whatever. Okay, you write down what it is you do for work. The second question is then, why do you do it? Now this is a great question, because a lot of people tend to say money, and as Simon said, money is the result of working. It isn't the why, it is the result. You can make money doing anything. Why is it that you've chosen this particular path? Are you good at it? Is it something that you're drawn to? Is it something that you believe it? You kind of have to dig deeper into finding out. And money, money, or it was the only job I could get offered. If they're the only answers that you come up with, you're going to have to take your experience from that job and move on, and find a job that you would find more fulfilling. Okay, so moving on from that, question 3 is, how is what you are doing making you a better person? So what, by going into work every day, what makes you keep getting up and going in? Like, what are the things that you're learning through that job? It could be discipline, it could be, and then there's face hardship. I know a great lesson I learned in my previous job that was making me a better person was actually talking with people who were difficult customers and actually being okay with that. Like, people be roaring down the phone at me, and I learned a great lesson of that. Shouting at me wasn't, to me, it's not a personal thing. it's their frustration and it's coming from inside them, and I'd be there to, you know, help them and you know, ease them through that transition or that horrible phase of, because losing the head is an awful feeling. So just to kind of bring them through that and not to personalize, not to take it on personally. I thought that was a really good, that made me a better person in my last job. But so it's just, you know, look at those kind of off the wall type things that maybe make you a better person in that place. And then the fourth question is, how is what you're doing making the world a better place? So, I mean, you could struggle with this if you're like, okay, say it's easier if you're like a doctor and you're saying, well, I save lives, you know, I'm, you know, providing life-saving treatment to people, like that's great. If you're a beautician, like brilliant, you know, you're making people feel more confident about themselves or feel good about themselves. You know, it could be anything. If you're, I'm trying to think of a difficult job. Like bin men, brilliant. Like if we didn't have bin men, we'd be completely effed. So like, I mean, you know, you can find good in any job that you're doing. So I don't know how you're making the world about. Maybe you're creating massive employment. You're providing careers for people. You know, you're providing cutting edge services. Really dig down into finding how is what you're doing making the world a better place. And then the final question, which is a good one, is why do people buy from you? And what reasons have they from buying from you? And I want you to avoid things like price, you know, that you're the cheapest or you're the best for value, you know, or, you know, get away from the monetary values. You want to go, that's neocortex, that's outside the new part of the brain, the logical and, oh, well, it's because we are cheaper and we are blah, blah, blah. Go more into the limbic brain, get more feeling. Why are people buying from us? What feeling do we give them? Why are we moving them to buy from us? Try and make all of this limbic brain. Stay away from which is hard because it's the easiest way to go to, is the quantifiable logical reasons as to why. Try to get a bit more left of center of it. Try to think outside the box a wee bit, and you will find that by doing this exercise, which isn't easy. I mean, these questions are so open, you're like, oh God, what do I write? But they will take you to a deeper understanding of what it is you're actually doing and why you're actually doing it. And as we go on, you will have a better understanding of what it is you're doing and why you're doing it and how you can connect those. And ultimately, you just build a stronger essence of who you are and who your brand is. And it's just a really powerful exercise. I think I'm going to do it as well. So guys, yes, I will leave you with this. I'll put the questions below for this section. It's the first of 4 steps in discovering your why workbook. And I will be back with more of it tomorrow. Okay, take care guys. See you soon.